I've really been asking myself what the real reason behind the protests that are going on in the UK is. Unfortunately, a 17-year-old boy killed and injured people in Southport. He murdered three girls. At least that's the number we know so far. And some other people were injured. One thing I've come to realize is whenever something happens, good or bad, number one reaction of most people is to seek out the skin color of the person or persons involved. The protests we are seeing in many parts of the UK today are simply an outward manifestation of how people have been feeling for a very long time. People have been expressing themselves a lot on social media, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. But now people have chosen to take to the streets to openly say those things that they have been saying in private. The protests essentially is against immigrants, people like myself, even though people will say it's not a protest against legal immigrants, but it is a protest against all immigrants. Legally or officially, people would say it's a protest against illegal immigrants, but it's not. It's a protest against all forms of immigration, all forms of immigrants, irrespective of what you do, whether you're providing value to the nation or not, whether you're a legal migrant or whether you are uh, an illegal migrant or refugee. um, People really don't care. You know what I mean? All migrants are classified as the same behind closed doors. So when you leave what you see people do at the workplace, on TV, behind closed doors, uh, people say the real things. And how you really know what people are saying behind closed doors is exactly what people say on social media. When they feel safe and they feel that they cannot be seen or identified, when people feel safe, behind their keypads, on their computers, when they feel that nobody really knows who they are and how to find them, then they type and say all the things that really come through their minds and things they say with their family members behind closed doors. So it's quite unfortunate, but that's the reality of life. So nobody should really be scared or really be surprised that this is happening. Now, I want to talk about the human nature vis-a-vis a chessboard or a chess game. How does humanity relate to a chessboard? On a chessboard, there are different pieces. There are eight pawns, usually eight pawns, and then there's a pair of rooks, a pair of bishops, a pair of knights. There's a king and there's a queen. Most of us, you and I, are pawns. Most of the people in the world are pawns. We are the ones that go to work, we do the 9 to 5, we slave, we work very hard, we do the night shifts. We get to pay taxes from our income, taxes that are used to fund the lifestyles of many other people. And then there is the ruling class, the people, the pieces behind the pawns. The ruling class, we've got the politicians, we've got those really big business tycoons who work very closely with the politicians and make a lot of money. We've got the monarchs of the world, we've got the kings of the world, the queens of the world, who are also part of the ruling class. And we, the pawns, are just the ones who are left to wallow in our sorrow. We are the beasts of burden of the world. The unfortunate thing is that the pawns have always been divided. From time immemorial, the pawns of the world have always been divided on the lines of skin color, which we call race, language, which we call ethnicity or tribe, and of course, place of origin. So these are the lines that majorly divide the pawns. Whenever there is a stress, economic hardship, so actually, what is triggering most of these protests is economic hardship. Economic hardship is the underlying factor that has led to the frustration, that has led to these knee-jerk reaction. Because let me tell you something. If the person, the 17-year-old boy who brutally and senselessly murdered people in Southport, if he were to be a white boy, obviously we wouldn't be having these protests. I understand it. I understand why it's happening, because if someone from your village commits a crime, the reaction would definitely be different from if that crime is committed on your land by someone external. So I completely understand. The boy who killed those girls, from what we gather, even though his skin color is dark, he was born and raised in the UK. But people don't care. As long as your skin color is dark, as long as your skin color is not light, like the indigenes of the UK, people really don't care. That's the reality. It sounds harsh, but reality is usually harsh. You know what I mean? The truth is usually harsh. The truth is usually something that most of us shy away from. We want to run away, want to hide under the blanket, because the truth usually points fingers at all of us. It points fingers at all of us. When you're pointing a finger at one person, what happens is that three fingers and your thumb are pointing back at you. And that's what the truth usually does. It hurts us because it makes us realize that what we are doing may not necessarily be completely right. So most of us are the pawns of the world, and we're just having this knee-jerk reaction to things that are happening. Let's ask ourselves this genuine question. Did the UK get better after Brexit? It hasn't. I understand COVID came, it was like a double hit, to most parts of the world, but double hit to the UK because they were trying to adjust from Brexit, and then COVID came and it was just like a double hit to the economy. And people are beginning to feel that immigrants are taking their jobs. Now I'm saying the reality. These are things that are going on in the background. That's when you check the pulse of people. People are feeling that the immigrants are taking their jobs, that the immigrants are accepting lower paid jobs, thereby pushing the native Brits out of employment. People are also feeling that immigrants are taking their houses, leading to housing crisis. So people are looking at all of these supposed or presumed disadvantages that the immigrants are bringing. But what they're failing to do is they are consciously failing to admit the huge benefits that migrants bring to the UK population. A lot of hardworking legal migrants work very hard, bring some spice to the life because variety is the spice of life, contribute immensely to the economy, pay taxes, pay national insurance contributions, are part of the investments, investing into the nation, the economy. So people who choose to create chaos and uproar on the basis of skin color, willfully and consciously choose to ignore the huge benefits that migrants, especially the legal migrants, bring. The unfortunate thing, as I said earlier, is that people who are angry with migrants are not classifying the migrants. They don't. All they see is skin color. As long as your skin is dark, or as long as you look Indian or Pakistani, as long as you don't have the phenotype of a British person based on skin color, hair texture, language, native language, as long as you don't have those phenotypes, people who think that way don't care. They see you as different and they're angry when they see you. And some of them want to hurt you when they see you. This is the reality. It's usually painful, it's usually harsh for us to admit the reality, but this is the reality. It's not necessarily uh, an anger because of what just happened at Southport, brutal murder of kids, injury to people, very senseless, barbaric, brutish murder and waste of human life. It's not just that that's triggering people. People are being triggered by the emotions that have been lingering for a long time. The emotions of anger, the emotions of hate, the emotions of bitterness towards migrants. Yeah, it's been going on for quite a while, um, and the lid has just been popped open. Let's hope people don't sustain injuries in the process. Let's hope people are safe. Because let's tell ourselves the truth. If the government, if the security is not able to really contain what's going on, things will really degenerate. And it's not going to be in the best interest of the UK population. What do I mean? It's not going to be in the best interest of any country if the security forces are not able to control riots and protests and protests that are violent protests. Well, I really wanted to share my 2 cents on the protests that are going on. Um, I would like to know what you think. Obviously, I know a lot of natives will be aggrieved and angry with this video. But as I said earlier, as human beings, we really don't want to be confronted with the truth because the truth always makes us uncomfortable. It's a human nature thing, you know. It's just it. But that's the way things are. We have to say it, even though it's uncomfortable.